Hey everyone, welcome back to the Maverick channel, and today we want to see this whole ecosystem of the Cosmos network and the Fetch.AI network, the interoperability that has been afforded by the Cosmos network, and the dynamic nature of the autonomous economic agents by Fetch.AI. What does this all mean? How does it all come together? So we have the Internet of Things capitalized on by the Fetch.AI framework, as well as the economy of things. And Fetch.AI, one thing that they understand is that they cannot really achieve all these things by themselves. They need to tap into other platforms. They need to tap into other brains, what other people are creating, what other frameworks, how other frameworks are developing. So for example, when you see that interconnectivity of Fetch.AI with Cosmos, what it means is that they're tapping into the aspects like Stargate. So with Stargate, Fetch.AI is able to leverage the cosmosm system to be able to interoperate with all other chains that are built around the Cosmos ecosystem. So what that means is that together with the interoperability and other consensus algorithms that are built by the Cosmos ecosystem, Fetch.AI is able to leverage onto that. It just doesn't mean that Fetch.AI is interoperable with tokens or ecosystems that are built on the Cosmos network, but it also means that they can tap into, or they can communicate, the Fetch.AI network can communicate with other platforms that have been built onto different hubs onto the Cosmos chain or the Cosmos network. So those that have watched my videos, you understand the Cosmos network. It's ideally, you have hubs and zones. So think of a hub as a central body and zones surrounding it. So zones could be different networks, and a hub is this middle thing that allows these networks to communicate with each other. So imagine if there are different hubs and zones, and these hubs and zones are connected to other hubs and zones. So essentially, the Fetch.AI network just has to tap into one central hub and zone that has permission to communicate with other networks, or that has a similar algorithm, similar framework with other networks that interoperate with it, and then it's able to tap into that system. Because obviously other people, unless you want to create something that's private, a blockchain that's private, you want to be able to leverage onto other systems. So that's what's happening with Fetch.AI. So the Cosmos network has actually showed us that this has happened. This is possible. This has been demonstrated in the way that it works, the interconnectivity, the interoperability between different networks. So you have the Fetch.AI ecosystem, which is composed of these multi-agent systems that are residing in essentially what is a dynamic environment, an environment that keeps on changing. And you have these autonomous economic agents that can operate in a non-custodial manner. And this is accelerated. Then that non-custodial manner is accelerated by the ability to be interoperable with other ecosystems through the Cosmos network. But they're not tied into, if you understand the nature of the Cosmos network, it's not limited. The security is not limited to what the Cosmos network offers. Each ecosystem can build its own security, its own consensus algorithms, its own type of consensus nature. You can even use decentralized, you can use direct acyclic graphs, you can use proof of stake, and they're trying to roll out the technology that can also allow interconnectivity of proof of work. So anyone can build what they feel their idea of what a blockchain should do, apply their own rules, and still be able to tap into this interoperable nature, just like the internet. Because it's on top of the underlying technology, the ICP and the HTTPS, it can communicate with all those languages and all those, that whole ecosystem. So essentially, when you look at this connectivity between Fetch.AI and the Cosmos ecosystem, you truly understand when you look at the lowest level and even the higher level, depending, you truly understand that there's this leveraging of different technologies between these two ecosystems that's really helping them expand beyond even their own reach. So yesterday, on Friday actually, last week, there was an Ask Me Anything from Fetch.AI, where the CEO participated and the CTO, Jonathan Ward. The CEO is Human Chick, and they had quite a few important notes. They mentioned about, announcing collective learning, and how I think they mentioned next week, which is this week. So they're going to announce something to do with collective learning and building art. This is something they've been talked about, a use case around their collective learning suite. This, of course, utilizes machine learning and artificial intelligence So we shall see that how that works. As I always say, that the best way to generate art is I think usually through generative adversarial networks, but let's wait and see what they're going to do with that. So when we look at how diverse Fetch.AI is and what they're trying to achieve, they're trying to really capture a very large market, but at the same time keeping the focus of the autonomous economic agents and what they can do. So regardless of what else they do, they steal this focus of those agents that are essentially supposed to tie into the very nature of automating everything, automating oracles, automating decentralized finance, automating smart contracts. So this is very key. That is the focal point of the Fetch.AI network. So they've spoken about upgrading the network with Stargate. So that's what I spoke about. Stargate is essentially utilizing Cosmosm, the Cosmos network, and its technology to allow for Fetch.AI to essentially be able to implement smart contracts and to be able to communicate with all other chains around the Fetch.AI ecosystem. So they're launching the native Fet wallet, and I did a video a couple of weeks back about the native Fet wallet. So this will be an extremely utility filled wallet. Of course, the first rollout of the wallet might not have all that we expect, especially if you read the technical paper. But ultimately, this is supposed to evolve into a type of wallet that you can use to generate agents just like that and generate so many other functionalities on the Fetch.AI network. And I imagine it leverages having the utility token, which is the Fed token, allows you to tap into the deeper nature of the Fetch.AI network. But I imagine this wallet will not have all the features if you read the technical paper, but as it develops, it will create that ultimate utility of the Fed token. So there's something I will mention at the end, which I found very interesting, and it's something to do with staking. And I really appreciate that. I think it was Jonathan Ward that pinpointed about this. So something else they mentioned about was migrating most of the technologies onto the mainnet. So if you know, Fetch.AI announced or actually rolled out a DeFi agent that helps with stop loss on decentralized finance, and which actually works. I used it and it actually works very, very well. So my query was, when are we going to see these technologies on the actual Fet mainnet, especially leveraging that interoperability with Cosmos and the Cosmos network? So this is in plan of migrating these technologies onto the actual Fet mainnet, but we also know that these technologies are also going to be rolled out on other DeFi platforms. They rolled it out on Ethereum and on the Binance Smart Chain. So they also spoke about Solana as something that they're looking into the future, and also multiple other DeFi platforms. So they really want to tap into the whole crypto sphere. It's not just limited to a very small niche of a very small community niche. So they also talked about other secret collective learning applications that they will talk about that are in the works right now that they can't talk about right now. So we were very curious and excited to eventually find out about that. So Fet agents will be integrated into many more DeFi protocols, as I said. So the thing that I wanted to actually look into was this thing about locked capital. So during the Ask Me Anything, one of the users posed the question is that if we continue having this staking, just having that idle locked capital, fine, people are earning extra Fet tokens or these are the incentives like the Phoenix program, but isn't having that locked capital destructive in some way in the long term or short term, something like that? So what Jonathan Ward said was he spoke about leveraging derivatives. So having staked tokens on the network, essentially, when we look into the future evolution of decentralized finance, they can be something. We know that Fetch.AI has the MetaLex platform, which is essentially a derivatives commodities exchange. And we also know they're also developing sort of a lending insurance platform called Atomics, where you can put your security there, get tokens that represent that security, then you can use those tokens to lend them out, or you can provide liquidity. And if you're specifically a liquidity provider, you can provide liquidity in stable coins and earn tokens that then you can stake on the network and keep earning liquidity. So the idea is that having that, the whole idea of proof of stake is that you stake your tokens to help in the security of the network. So if you have your capital staked there, then there's something called liquid staking, which I think DeFi hasn't yet tapped into very well, but that's something that could be tapped into in the future. So with liquid staking, essentially, you have your tokens locked up in a network, and because these things are governed by smart contracts, and of course that's the whole essence of blockchain. There's proof that you're in possession of these things, tokens, NFTs, and any other asset or whatever that you might be holding on the blockchain, or any kind of blockchain or distributed ledger technology. So with liquid staking, you can essentially be issued tokens that represent your position in that DeFi platform, and then you can use these tokens for so many other things. Like, you can use them for earning double yield, you can stake them and earn an extra yield, or you can even lend them out. But of course, that can become complicated in the sense that if you lend them out and yet they represent your possession of certain tokens or your assets. So I think there has to be a smart system that can govern that. And I think that's where also the oracles come in. So Fetch.AI wants to develop oracle systems that are governed by autonomous economic agents. So there are these decisions that would require very fast human intervention, but of course that human efficiency may not necessarily be there. So if there's a way of automating these processes, say you can lend out your tokens that represent your position in your staked position, but at the same time there's that agreement that even if you're lending them out, at some point you'll have repossession of that, and then you'll be able to have access to your staked position. So there's things like that that have to be discussed, things like that have to be researched in. But I really appreciate what is happening between Cosmos and the Fetch.AI network. We have two powerhouses. One, the Cosmos network, which has actually created technology that is existing right now, that is only waiting adoption and more attention from more developers and the whole general crypto community. And then we have the Fetch.AI ecosystem, which is slowly but surely developing into something that's possibly going to be extremely influential in the field of Internet of Things, economy of things, and changing the whole supply chain and automating the whole blockchain ecosystem when it comes to decentralized finance and other things. Having these agents that can make their own decisions autonomously on behalf of their owners and on behalf of machines. I think this is something that a lot of us may not fully understand right now, but if this technology is actually rolled out in the way that we understand it right now, if it actually materializes, and it seems to be going that direction, it's going in the right direction. If it actually materializes and all these things that we have in our brains about what this technology can do actually materialize, then we can exponentially see an evolutionary picture of how this whole Fetch ecosystem evolves with the dynamic environment and the autonomous economic agents. This thing evolves into something that none of us could have even perceived from just reading white papers and reading old scripts that have been written about multi-agent systems. So guys, that's essentially it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I see Cosmos as something that's extremely important in the whole cryptocurrency space, and I see Fetch.AI that's extremely important as far as technology is concerned with human to machine interaction and the economic things and the Internet of Things. So hope you enjoyed this video today. I'll try to be more perceptive as I do more research, and hopefully I can bring out information that's as close to the truth as possible, as close as we can get to the truth as far as these things are concerned. All right guys, take care, have a good one. I'll speak to you on the next one. Bye bye.